Welcome back. Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton, an obvious target during last night's debate. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie hitting the former Secretary of State hard. Listen.
Here's my warning to everybody out in the audience tonight. If you're worried about the world being on fire, you're worried about how we're going to use our military, you're worried about strengthening our military, and you're worried most of all about keeping your homes and your families safe and secure, you cannot give Hillary Clinton a third term of Barack Obama's leadership. I will not do that. If I'm the nominee, she won't get within 10 miles of the White House.
I want to bring in Robert Wolf right now, an outside advisor to President Obama. Robert, good to see you. Thank you so much for weighing in this morning, my friend.
I have to say what a great job you did last night. You crushed the bromance of Trump and Cruz. I didn't think that was possible.
Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you very much, Robert. Give me your reaction to what you just heard from Governor Christie on Hillary Clinton.
You know, I would echo what Bill O'Reilly said. Governor Christie's running for vice president, and being an attack dog on Hillary Clinton is not going to win you the presidency. You have to bring up policies and real actions, and you see what he's doing in New Jersey, and it's not working. And then the other thing is he did have a decent relationship with the president, especially during FEMA when he was actually speaking in the 2012 elections. And so I think you can't repeat history that way and make believe it didn't take place. So, he's being an attack dog and he's running for vice president, but I don't think it actually will resonate in the national polls.
You make a good point, because I think that after the hurricane, it definitely alienated a lot of people for sure. I got a great panel on set that they want to jump in as well, Robert, but let me get your take on who had the goods last night in terms of policy. We tried to stick to the issues. Infrastructure, one of your topics. We brought that up, as well as entitlements, tax reform, and, of course, national security. Who did well?
I think actually Governor Bush did well on the economy. I mean, I think with the response to Trump on tariffs, I thought he was spot on. I mean, trying to put a 45% tariff on China is just illogical. And the truth is, I'm surprised no one mentioned the TPP as a way to go after China, because they're not part of it. And if we sign the TPP with all the other nations, that's 65% of trade that China's not part of. So I didn't think they showed collectively a lot of depth. I thought it was very spirited. I thought they actually had an interesting debate on foreign terror and ISIS. And I would have never thought I would say that Cruz won anything, because I probably don't agree with anything he says. But from my perspective, he clearly won the debate, because he's been talking the last 2 weeks about the Bertha issue, and it's now relatively behind him. I thought he answered that question, but I actually never thought it was a question.
I'm glad you brought up the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, Steve Moore. Look, a majority of GOP voters are against free trade.
I know.
Because they think it's going to take their jobs.
It is. It's true. And I thought Bush, I said on this show yesterday that I thought one of the most important things about this debate is which one of these three governors between Kasich and Christie and Bush broke through.
Yeah.
And I thought Bush had the best night last night. I thought he was principled. I thought he talked about the importance of trade in a way that really made sense to people, that this is actually about American jobs, that what is it, something like 20 to 25% of our jobs are a result of exports.
Yeah.
So I thought he was good. But look, I'll just disagree with Robert on one thing. I actually thought Trump was excellent last night. I just thought he is a great communicator.
You thought he won the night?
I would say so. I thought he is a great retail politician.
Anthony, what do you want to ask Robert?
Well, I think it was the best night. But Robert, who is the person on that stage to, one, qualified to be president, and two, can beat your candidate?
He's never going to tell us that.
He's not going to say it.
He's going to say, who's the person? Come on, it's rotisserie baseball. Who would you draft?
Well, I think.
Come on, Robert.
Well, first of all, I would say last night, I would give probably Cruz the first round, Trump the second round, because obviously being someone that was impacted by SEP 11, I thought his answer to that was spot on. And as a Democrat, I would say, wow, good for him. you know, the truth is, I don't know if that resonates in Iowa, New Hampshire, or South Carolina, which is why I'd probably give the night to Cruz. I would say with respect to tackling Secretary Clinton, I think it's all about, you know, issue depth, and I think Jeb would be, you know, the best candidate to talk about that, because I think that if you look at what he did in Florida, he understands the economy. I think the problem with Jeb is right now the Republican Party, it's more about presence than policy. And on the stage, they're looking for red meat, and Jeb has struggled with that. He doesn't have the same charismatic tone as a Trump or a Christie, and that's not what the Republican Party wants today. Certainly, you know, so I would say Jeb probably has the best depth in policy, but hasn't been a good debater.
Robert, let me ask you this before you go. I mean, if Secretary Clinton is going to, you know, raise taxes, capital gains taxes, isn't that going to crimp an economy that's having a hard time gaining traction, Robert?
Yeah, you know what, I think tax policy is a great thing to talk about, but there's not going to be one solution to overhaul it. You need to overhaul it all. And Maria, you and I and Anthony have spoken often. It would be great.
Down, not up.
It would be great idealistically if we could say taxes are going to be at 20%. Now let's have an up and down vote on every loophole, and let's see really where the pork is. But that's never going to happen because you can't get any senators to go into that aisle. But I would say at the end of the day, we need to change corporate tax reform dramatically. I know that you brought up the infrastructure question to Christie. You know, no disrespect to him, but a tax holiday is not going to work. To repatriate and give a tax holiday, as you would know, would actually increase the deficit dramatically because the CBO already scores that.
Robert, are you for the Keystone Pipeline then? That's an important part of our infrastructure.
Actually, when I was on the Jobs Council, I was supporter of the Keystone Pipeline. I think today it's not actually even relevant because where oil is, and now that we're an importer and exporter of both oil and gas, it's just not, it doesn't move the needle anymore. So I just don't think it's a debate anymore with oil at 30 versus when it was at 100, and it's not a real job creator. I'm pro-infrastructure. I'm actually pro-trade. So I probably could sit at your guys' table for a lot of discussions.
Yeah.
You sure could.
Robert,
you sure could.
Real quick, Robert, before you jump, we got to market down another 300 today. $2 trillion lost in market value year to date. It's only 2 weeks. What do you think's going on?
You know, I thought the Fed's move was not smart. I thought it could have been done a year ago. I didn't like that it was done around December time. I don't see growth happening at the corporate level. It's all acquisition driven. It's not organic. I am very nervous about profits in here, and it feels to me that the U.S. is doing well, but we're not even hitting 3%. So the U.S. doing great in a global economy that's not hitting 3% is not too good. World Bank just lowered it to below 3%, and we all know that China right now has a lot of smokes and mirrors. So I'm incredibly concerned. And that's why I'm such a proponent of infrastructure. It's the fastest multiplier of both GDP growth and jobs.
And that's what we see materializing in markets. Robert Wolf, always great to talk with you, sir.
Thank you.
So much.
Great job by you and Neil.